So if I were to give an overview of the process of attaining enlightenment, it would be this: that all of the tools and practices that come from ancient texts and contemporary techniques, and all of them have to do with uh, giving us the opportunity to let go of what we know and to set aside the importance of our individual self. Now, the thing that I want to stress is that you can always pick that back up again after any meditation session, at any moment, you can always choose to reclaim your sense of self. And in fact, unless you're like a crusty old yogi or yogini in a cave somewhere in hard to get to wherever, you're bound to take back that sense of self and be another human ego with identity and personality and your own individual characteristics. So what I want to really, really reassure you of is that won't go away. You can always get that back. But if you're willing for a certain amount of time, and that's hard to say for each individual person. In recovery, we say that if you go through a process, sometimes quickly and sometimes slowly, you will absolutely gain the benefits of the process if you just keep going through it. So there is this process of practicing with meditation and mindfulness and awareness and discrimination and impeccability, all of these different tools and more that give you the chance to touch and have the experience that I spoke of in the previous video. If you're willing to do that enough, then you will absolutely, it's inevitable, you will absolutely have the experience. You have to be willing. You have to be willing to put in the practice, put in the time, and in doing so, each of those instances, set yourself aside. So the practice of service is to try and set yourself aside. Make somebody or something more important than you. The practice of meditation and stilling the mind, quieting the mind, is to stop all the chatter and stop all of the insistence and the commitment to your own self and your own needs and wants and your thoughts and all of that having to do with me, I, you, an individual. Hopefully, if you're studying or practicing or devoted to a religious practice, the tools of prayer and meditation give you these opportunities as well to set yourself aside. Try and put yourself in communion with something greater than yourself. God, Christ consciousness, love, light, whatever it is, Allah. This complete and absolute devotion to something greater than yourself is all for, or in a large part, it's for the experience of setting yourself aside. And when you do, you you give yourself space and opportunity to consider something vastly different that we can't necessarily be born with, or we certainly can't articulate it until we develop some maturity. So, again, I want to reassure you, you will never lose yourself. It's just really, really hard to do. And it might even be a gift. Excuse me. You won't lose yourself. You can always get yourself back. If you're willing, though, to set yourself aside, think of others, think of something greater, think of how vastly expansive the ocean is, or the sky, or the mountains, how deep and grounded they are, the depth of the earth, that's just here on earth. If you can consider how great the universe is, that we're being able more and more to observe because of the advances in technology, you will have more and more opportunity to be saturated and affected by this awareness and comprehension of something greater than yourself, your individual self. There's a video online, I'll try and find the link and post it, called The Overview Effect, of people that have had the opportunity to travel to the orbit on the edge of space of Earth. And they can't help but have the visceral experience of seeing how vast the Earth is and how small a part they are of that whole being of Earth. And yet, because we are so filled with these gifts of consciousness and intelligence and self-determination, we are huge, we are massive, we are incredibly powerful. There's a wonderful balance and a wonderful relationship and harmony between the two, our senses of self, our identity, and the vastness and wholeness of the infinite. That's what we're trying to share, that experience and relationship. And who knows what you'll do with it if and when you have that experience. For me, it was magical, miraculous, life-changing. And I hope that you can find that for yourself.